When the name Hells Angels, the world's most infamous club, is mentioned, many myths come to mind. Is the club a really rowdy gang? Or is this image exaggerated? Is there a safe path out? And what happens when you decide to leave and live a more peaceful life without your biker gear? Let's figure out what's real and what's made up and delve into the details of what happens when you leave the Hells Angels. The Hells Angels are among the world's oldest and largest motorcycle clubs. They create a close knit brotherhood, living life on the edge as they hit the open road on their motorcycles. This well-known club is a global phenomenon with over 6,000 chapters in 59 countries. What makes them special? There are many reasons to join the Hells Angels, but a popular motive is a passion for motorcycles. Another reason is the attraction of being a member of a notorious and enigmatic club. What about the joining process? Is it an easy route? No, becoming a full member is not something to be taken lightly. It's a lengthy process that takes years to complete. A legitimate driver's license and a motorcycle with an engine capacity of at least 750cc are prerequisites for joining the Hells Angels. They have to ride American-made motorcycles together for a minimum of 20,000 kilometers every year. The preferred brands are Harley-Davidson, Indian, and Victory. Applicants who have experience in law enforcement or who are child molesters are not accepted. Once these prerequisites are met, the initiation process begins. It's here where the journey truly begins. Now the candidate becomes a potential member. They meet more experienced club members at meetings. As they start as hang-arounds, they become associates for a year or two. If they remain interested, then they become prospects and are eligible to take part in club events, but are not allowed to vote. If they prove themselves, they receive full membership and get to wear the club's four-piece insignia, which includes the iconic Death Head logo. The final stage is a unanimous vote by all full members, which is required to advance to the full patch membership stage. The prospects frequently visit different chapters and introduce themselves in order to ease voting. But what if a single vote goes against them? In that case, they return to the prospecting stage until they receive the required 100 votes to move forward. It takes years of commitment and isn't a recreational endeavor to join the club. The club's official colors are white with red lettering leading to the nickname. Red and white patches are placed on vests or jackets. Some members sport the AFA patch, which stands for Angels Forever. In addition to their traditional tagline, Angels Forever, Forever Angels, they have various catchphrases. There's a patch featuring two Nazi-style SS lightning bolts under the words Filthy Few that can only be worn by a select few club members. The club says it's a reward badge for people who show up early and stay late at events, but some law enforcement officials suspect people who wear it are connected to crimes, including murder. Contrary to popular belief, the majority of Hells Angels members value fitness. What is even more surprising is that the club strictly prohibits intravenous drug use. The club has rigid rules about relationships with women, and those who break them will face severe consequences. Members follow traditions such as taking off riding gloves before shaking hands and not using sunglasses during conversation. The Oakland chapter of the Hells Angels is quite well known and has a big say in club decisions. With the most members in the United States, other motorcycle clubs seeking affiliation must first apply to Oakland and be accepted. It could be a big deal in life to join the Hells Angels, but trying to leave is like jumping from a frying pan into the fire. Members cannot leave unless they are expelled. Attempting to leave is a daring endeavor. As for retiring, they don't have a concept of rearing, although there are rare exceptions. Let's examine the life tales of a few prominent Hell Angel members who quit the gang. Georgia Christie, a former club leader with 35 years in the club out of a 40-year membership, is one such example. Why did he decide to bid adieu to the club? He thought the club had deviated from its original purpose, so he took a different road. When Christ was a child, he was captivated by the outlaw biker lifestyle, the carefree spirit of a long-haired denim jacket biker riding through the streets inspired him. George Christie's love for the outlaw bike culture was first sparked during his high school years. It all began when his principal charged him with cheating. Because of his high IQ test results, he lost faith in what he saw as a polite society. After the incident, he joined the Marine Corps. After high school, following his military service, Christie lived out his dream by getting himself a boat and joining other motorcycle organizations such as the Satan Slaves and question marks. It was a wild ride, and he earned his stripes as a full-patch Hells Angels member. In 1976, Christ quickly rose through the ranks, and in 1978, he founded the chapter in Ventura, California at the 1984 Los Angeles Olympics. He even carried the Olympic torch and finished in the top spot. Christie also had a job in the Department of Defense, and when his colleagues discovered his affiliation with the Hells Angels, which led him to leave the group, In 1978, it was a difficult choice. He admitted George Christie made a life-changing decision in 2011. All belongings associated with the club, including tattoos, are taken away. When one leaves on poor terms, he walked into a club meeting, took off his patches, and announced that he was leaving the Hells Angels. He thought that he had followed the exit procedures, but this proved to be wrong. The club excommunicated him and charged his status, without bad accusing him of being an informant. He faced public accusations and social media shaming, losing the sense of identity and community that had first drawn him to the outlaw biker lifestyle. In a motorbike community, being out bad was a stigma, so people avoided interacting with them. Even friendly club members risked consequences if they spoke to him. It was similar to a divorce in that his formerly friendly relationship turned hostile. Was George Christie the only person to suffer this kind of destiny following the expulsion from the Hells Angels? Unfortunately, not Jay Dubinwasa, well-respected special agent with the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms. He spent 2003 infiltrating the Hells Angels. He carried out more than 500 covert investigations and took part in Operation Black Biscuit during the intense war between the Hells Angels and Mongols. In order to get close to the members of the club, he had to first act as a debt collector and a gun runner. It was not hard for Dobbins to become a full-patch member of the Hells Angels charter in Mesa, Arizona. This was because of his personality and the confidence of an outlaw biker. Dobbins even cooked up a fictitious murder involving a member of the Mongols. He went the extra mile, using lamb blood and brains, taking photographs and videotapes, and sending a bloodstained Mongol patch to the Hells Angels. The Hells Angels leadership voted him in as a fully patched member, though they later denied it. The lawsuit finished in 2004 and revealed Dobbins' true identity. The Hells Angels were deeply hurt by this betrayal. Their reaction, well, it was a big blow to the club, and they took it very seriously. He immediately started receiving threats, most of which were directed at his family. They planned to inject him with hive gang, rape his wife and daughter, kidnap his son, and kill all of them. The ATF also downplayed these threats. They claimed that none of them had forced him to work undercover, even when his wife and kids were inside his Arizona house. When it caught fire, the Bureau continued to treat these threats lightly, although his family escaped the arson attack. The house and all of their possessions were destroyed. Fortunately, Dobbins filed and won a lawsuit against the ATF in 2014. The history of Hells Angels is a big deal for motorcycle enthusiasts. It's all about that aura of respect that surrounds them. Keep writing. What is the real story behind motorcycle clubs like the Hells Angels? And is it really possible to leave such groups peacefully? Comment below.